What's up, you guys? It's your girl, Celena Lena, aka Sis from Sis and Lil Bro. Welcome to another episode of the MANUP Club Presents podcast. We're back with another episode. I have the founder and executive director of the MANUP Club here. Obviously, you guys, some of you know, but for those of you who don't know, his name is Korey Dean Sr., aka Cross. So say what's up, Mr. Cross.
What up, people? How y'all doing out there, man? Make sure if y'all driving, y'all ain't running into nobody.
Yes, because it's raining like crazy, like cats and dogs.
Well,
in
only
the
here in
Twin
Minnesota,
Cities.
though. Yeah, only here in Minnesota. I don't know what it's doing. Well, actually, in y'all part of the country, it's probably flooding. So prayers go out to y'all who facing those floods. And if you're in another part of the country, it's probably fires. So prayers go out to you guys. And then if you're in another part of the country, it's probably heat. So prayers go out to y'all. But here in the Twin Cities, we just got a little bit of rain, man. Thank God. But yeah, shout out to y'all, man. Stay safe.
Yeah, there's a lot of craziness going on. It just seems like when you turn on the news, there's every element of the weather, and it really just seemed like it is like the end times. But you got to keep the hope, y'all. Keep the faith.
Definitely in times.
Yeah.
Spoken about in the Bible.
Yes, but without further ado, I do want to give a recap of for those who don't know about the MANUP Club. If you don't know about the MANUP Club is a nonprofit mentor leadership organization for young African American males between the ages of 13 and 24 years old. We teach life skills, social skills, academic discipline, and civic responsibility. And my job as the coordinator is to make sure that they get the resources they need to become successful. If you know a young man who is in need of mentorship or who likes music or who would like fitness resources or who would like to learn how to cook, make sure that you go to the manupclub.org. We're always taking memberships. It is a lifelong membership. And we're also accepting donations from the community. And I also want to say that we provide a very specific resource to the community, which is suits. You don't have to be a member to get a suit. So make sure you stop down in 1018 North 5th Street to get a suit. So without further ado, though, all these advertising things, we're going to talk about our annual festival called Godflow. Godflow Festival. We've been running it for several years now. We've had some celebrity guests, and it's a really amazing, festival. So how about you just tell the people a little bit about that?
Godflow, man. Godflow started about 10 years, actually. And I had it in the heart of the hood in North Minneapolis. Started out at the Capri Theater, where we would just invite Christian hip-hop artists, local Christian hip-hop artists from the Twin Cities, give them a place to shine and put their ministry on display, and then also do community outreach to the neighborhood to reach young people within the community. And Capri only held about 150 people, and so I think when it first started out, it wasn't even called Godflow; it was called Church in the Wild. And then, unfortunately, with the murder of George Floyd, we ended up having to upscale Church in the Wild, and we changed the name to Godflow Hip Hop and Hope Fest. And the reason that we launched it outside as an open air festival. And the reason we done that is because, if you remember, during the murder of George Floyd, everybody knows that the Twin Cities was on fire and the Twin Cities was up in turmoil, and a lot of things was going on. People were being killed, a lot of fighting, buildings being burned, a lot of racial issues and things like that. And so you got your mayor running around and your chief of police running around and the governor and what have you, and some of those politicians, they were trying to attack the problem, from a practical standpoint, which makes sense. But at the same time, there needed to be a response from the kingdom of God. And if you notice, I didn't say the church, but I did say the kingdom of God. And so, what we did was we decided to start Godflow as an outreach to reach urban kids in the inner city with the gospel, because that's what we needed. You had people who were hurting, people who were dying, people who were in despair, people who were hopeless. And in the face of those things, what's the best thing to offer? The best thing to offer is faith and faith in Christ. And so that's what we did. We wanted to launch it with that. And so, it was an opportunity where we brought, 30 to 40 pastors together around the Twin Cities. We put a call out to a lot of the Christian hip hop ministers around the country. had them come in to do hip hop music and spread the gospel through their music. And then we had, a couple of celebrities that come through at that time. The first one we had Ti. He came through and he talked to the culture about taking care of their neighborhoods and putting the guns down and making sure that they do things that were positive. And so that's how we launched it. We did a lot of other things too. I mean, so for example, we had vendor booths from the community to provide resources. We had food vendors. We had 3-on-3 basketball. I mean, we had a lot. I can't even think of all the things that we had, but we had a whole bunch of stuff, and that's basically how God Flow started. And the other thing is that the young men in the MANUP Club were the ones who worked God Flow Fest, and that's what I got really excited about because they put their hand to the plow and just got the job done.
Yeah, absolutely. But hold on, let's not skip over. So first of all, before we get into the details of Godflow, because there's so many people that don't know about it, I wanna make sure that people do know the new date for 2025. So Godflow Festival is September 6th this year.
Yes,
September 6th. It's a Saturday, September 6th, Godflow Fest 2025. Be there, be there, be there, be there. Take off of work right now. Put that in your calendar right now. Do what you got to do right now. Maybe you got to take a flight. Maybe you got to save something. Listen, just put it in right now.
God Flow gonna be lit this year. Let me tell
Mm-hmm.
y'all. I'm telling you, it's gonna be lit. We doing the production is next level. I can't even begin to explain. And we're shooting it for national television.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just gonna be bananas, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be bananas.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing, and so yeah, make sure y'all pop out to that. We're gonna put out a lot of things on the Instagram, but
Oh,
getting
whoa, whoa, whoa! I got to plug one more plug.
yeah,
If you are an artist
mm,
from anywhere around the country and you want to play Godflow, yo, you got to submit, and you need to get that done right away. Go to godflowfest.com and submit. You know what I'm saying? Submit your MP3 with your hottest song. Make sure you got a visual of a music video or live performance or what have you. Make sure you go tap in and do that right now. We're looking for performers for the next couple of weeks. We locking them up. And this year we actually showcasing about 20 to 25 performers. So we going back. I don't know if y'all remember, but we going back to them holy hip hop days where Christian hip hop was just a movement and it wasn't about, a couple of artists, but it was about those dope underground artists who never got an opportunity to shine, but they
mm-hmm.
was dope with their ministry. We going back to that movement.
Yeah, I know that's right. No, but look, if you want the specific email to submit your stuff, it's booking at the number one way entertainment.com. Booking at onewayentertainment.com. Okay, got to put that out there. So, just diving into Godflow, let's talk about the previous Godflows for the people who, never attended one. Obviously you mentioned T.I., like Tip Harris. Yes. Okay, he was there. Um,
King of the South.
yeah, he was there. Black China, aka Angela White.
Oh yeah.
She came to Godflow. We had Cedric the Entertainer. That was the year that we did it virtually, I believe, because of COVID. He
Yep.
came on virtually, yeah. So we've had some different celebrity guests, but one thing that we've never talked about is just like the different flavor that they brought, um, because everybody's different. When Ti came, I really felt like the young men who attended Godflow, like they really got what they needed from that conversation because there's nothing like like their rap star, somebody that they look up to in the game and in movies and in music, who's been running it and who is a legend in rap music, just telling them, talking to them about what's real out here. Like, you know, coming from like the street culture, it's like he was just giving them so much game. And then when Black China came, which is my personal fave, no hate to
Oh, wait,
Ti.
wait, 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 wait. Before you go to Black China, let's let's
Yeah,
let's let's, let's chop on
yeah, absolutely.
let's chop on Ti first because there's a lot
Mhm,
to be said around that.
mhm,
So yeah, definitely when Ti came, he poured into the young men in the Man Up Club.
right.
And a quick sidebar, man. Shout out to my boy Devon Franklin, man. Y'all need to go check him out. He just came out with this one man show called Be True, and it's so dope. Listen,
Okay.
and basically what it's about being true to yourself, your authentic self, and not putting on for people or putting on the facade that you want people to see, and just being real with yourself and making moves accordingly and according to that. Now, the reason I said that is because a lot of times, the culture looks at celebrities in a certain kind of way, and they only see what they see on television,
Mhm.
and they have this ideology or this idea of what that celebrity is like, but they don't have a clue what they're like in real life. And so, that's what Devon's one man show Be True is about, is allowing you to see the real person, the real struggles that they have. And so I say that because when we brought T.I. to Godflow, that was an opportunity for the guys in the Man Up Club to see T.I. for real.
Yeah.
Not the T.I. that's on TV, or not the T.I. that's with Denzel Washington and American Gangster, not T.I. necessarily the king of the South, rapping on stage. But they got an opportunity, it was just him and them in a private room having conversation about real life and how to be a leader and how to be responsible and how to make the right moves, and how to avoid negative influences and things like that, and basically how to be a man, how to man up.
Mhm.
And so they had an opportunity to talk with him, one on one, in a real setting, and they had a whole new respect for him. So I know from that point on, when they saw him on TV, they like, yo, I know him, as opposed to, I'm his fan.
Mhm.
And I just think that that's what's really dope about what the Man Up Club brings to the table in regards to Godflow, is just allowing these young men to be truly mentored, but also giving them an opportunity to interface with a celebrity on a real personal level.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I could just imagine being them, like, cuz I wasn't in that room. When Ti came on stage at Godflow that year, he had a private 30-minute, however it was 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Private 30-minute session with the Man Up Club guys at Shiloh Temple. And I saw clips of it, and it's just amazing to see like them. They was just like really engaged and like listening to him as if he was their uncle or something. It's like, this is Ti, but they got to sit down and have like a family conversation with him. And like even my brother was one of the guys who interviewed him on stage, and it's like he was sitting there talking to Ti like that was his uncle, and I just thought that was so amazing. So, Ti, my brother interviewed him, and yeah, it was just amazing to see like the dynamic. They wasn't starstruck. They was just like respecting what he was talking about. I think maybe after they came to the realization, like, yo, I just had like a 30-minute conversation with Ti, but that was just very powerful. I'm sure it's something that they will never forget.
No, it's definitely not something that they'll forget. And the thing is, he did that, one on one with the guys in the Man Up Club. But to your point, even on stage, he dropped jewels to the audience, because they used to seeing Ti on stage rapping,
Mm-hmm.
but they never, the culture never experienced him on stage just having a conversation,
Mm-hmm.
and being asked real questions. And you got to remember, at that time we were in a real moment
Mm-hmm.
where a lot of things were going on within our country,
Yeah.
what have you, with the murder of George Floyd, man. And so, I just think that that's paramount, man, when you can have an opportunity to really get to know celebrities for real, because they go through situations and circumstances and have trials and tribulations, just like everybody else. And it ain't about how big their bag is, because at the end of the day, regardless of how big or small their bag is, it doesn't take away the problems of life. And that's what these young kids in the culture need to see, is they need to be able to see and interface, with celebrities from a real place, so they can understand that, everybody has struggles, but you can overcome your struggles no matter what level you on.
Absolutely. Let's speak about those jewels that he dropped that day. One of the things that I remember when I was watching him on stage, one of the things that stuck out to me was when he was talking about the way that he intentionally raises his kids. He was saying that, even though obviously he said this in his own words, but the message was like, okay, even though I got everything that I got and I'm on this platform, um, and me and my family, like, we're famous and everything, everything's at the palm of my kids' hands. I still wanted to raise my kids with the mindset of like, you still gotta go and get it. Like, you still can't be lazy. Like, you still gotta go and get it. I don't care if we already made it. Like, I want y'all to, what I'm saying, like, get up and get at it. Like, that's one of the things that I remember specifically him talking about. What were one of the things that you that stuck out that he said, that he was talking about? I know that you obviously had a lot on your mind because you were in charge of like running the festival, and you even performed, and then you also like hosted on the
Yeah, I
stage.
did
So there was
everything.
a lot. So but do you remember like anything that stuck out as you were listening to his messages?
Well, one of the things he was talking about is that you got to be innovative and think about whatever ideas that you come up with and that you think about. Don't throw them away just because somebody tries to talk you out of them, or because they're not on your team and not pushing and promoting you. He was like, one of the statements that he made was like, hey, if they had a thought of the idea, then they would have done it, but they didn't do it. And you're the one who had the idea, so you do it. Like, don't sit around and wait for other people to co-sign something, that's been placed on your heart to do. You be a leader and go out and get that.
I remember him
And so
saying
that
that.
thing was
Yeah.
that was very important. But going back to your point, in regards to how he raised his kids, that was a very valid point. Because basically what he was saying, just to reiterate what you were saying, is that he got it out the mud, and
Yeah.
that his kids didn't have to get it out the mud necessarily. It was twofold. That they didn't have to get it out the mud from the standpoint of making the same mistakes that he made, because he had already set them up for a level of success. And so they wouldn't necessarily have to go through the trials, tribulations, and the grind, and some of the negative things that he went through in order for them to be successful. So he basically provided a platform or a springboard for them to take things to the next level. But the other part of that is, you know, like you said, he also wanted them to have a work ethic, a great work ethic,
Yeah.
and not to be entitled to anything just because he's their dad, and his and their mom is a singer from SWV. You feel me? But to just really go out and get it.
Yeah, absolutely. So are we ready to talk about Black China?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, she was my personal favorite so far for Godflow Fest. And I mean, obviously it's because like I related to her as a female, but y'all, it was just so magical when she came. Okay, like no, like every Godflow was amazing, but I will tell you, like we were at First Ave.
Which is historic because
Yeah,
that was the first gospel event that was ever held in First Ave. And
right.
and I want to make sure that I
You make that
clarify
a point.
I
Yeah.
clarify that the First Avenue had never had any kind of gospel event in that historic place where Prince did Purple Rain
Mm-hmm.
until the MANUP Club came in and put on Godflow Fest. Let's just go ahead and put that flag in the ground right now. That's a MANUP flag.
You got to do that. We're making history. But yeah, like when she came through, obviously, Angela White, and I'm gonna refer to her as both. She went through her spiritual lifestyle transformation. She's really known for, things like her reality TV show and being the ex sister-in-law to Kim Kardashian, and she's Tyga's baby mama. People know her from being in Drake's music video and then getting like crazy fillers, and she really pushed
And
that fake boob.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, like oh
All
yeah,
of
that
that.
was a big one. Like yeah, like she really pushed that, like fake boobies, fake
Yeah.
booty, like that whole aesthetic. Um, our generation of girls, I feel like I can fairly say that, she was a big driver of that movement,
Hmm.
But and she went through that transition though before she came to Godflow, where she was deeply, deeply touched by Jesus Christ, and to the point where she took out her fillers. She went on this sobriety journey. For a very long time, she stopped drinking. Um,
Removed her tattoos.
yeah, she removed her tattoos. She had a tattoo of, I believe it was like a demonic image, like it was called like Baphomet or something like that, some
Hmm.
type of demonic name. But she got that removed, and she was very public about her transformation. And like she was just like, even until this day, she's like, Jesus is the way, and she's not fake about it. You know what I'm saying? Like she's not fake about it. And you know what? It's just, oh my God, I feel like I can just, yeah. I can't even contain myself when I
Well,
talk about her. I don't know. I just felt like it's like when she came, it was like, oh my gosh, like I feel like she my big sister, because, and I'm gonna just say like when she was in the room with us, like me and my brother Titus, little bro, like we interviewed her. We were asking her questions about like her faith, and what I'm saying, like what was going through your mind during the transition, and like what is it, how do you deal with the judgment, or like, what I'm saying, like what is it like up there at that level? And she was being so real and transparent, and I found that in our conversation she was getting more and more comfortable with us, and we wanted her to feel that way. And the thing was, there was a very special moment that happened that day in that interview where towards the end of it, she ended up showing us a very personal voice note in her phone of her recording herself praying to God. And she was like, I hate, like, before she played it, she was like, "Hey, I just feel like I should share this thing that I'm thinking about doing. Like, I'm thinking about she said it in her own words, but she was just saying, like, I'm thinking about putting together, like, this record of, like, me talking to God." And she didn't she didn't have it out before, but right now it's out. Like, she literally put it out a couple weeks ago, but for her to have shared that personal voice note with us in the room before the rest of the world knew about it,
Another historic moment at God Flow.
like, I'm so honored that she felt so safe with us, and, like, cuz it was just genuine, and I feel like that's how you know that she truly is, like, she's a daughter of God, you feel me? Like, she's been at the top. She's shaking hands with other people and stuff like that, but she's a super genuine girl.
Yeah, well, the thing is, and this is kind of what I've kind of noticed from celebrities, is that they're out there, they do their thing, and of course, they end the quote in the world, according to religious language or what have you. But bottom line is they outside for real, and they got things that they got life be life in at the end of the day.
Mhm.
And so the thing is, what I found out and what I've noticed and kind of leaned into is that when these celebrities have a true and let's emphasize true encounter with God, with Christ, they have a real transformation, and the transformation is real. And what I love about them is that they become unapologetically about their faith. And to me, that's what's super dope, you know. And no disrespect to a lot of Christian hip hop MCs, but I can stand on this and I can say it because I'm a pioneer of Christian hip hop, been in the game for 20 plus years. But a lot of Christian hip hop MCs are not about God's business, and a lot of them come with a watered down gospel or even a watered down faith to the point where they don't even want to put their faith on display as if representing God is supposed to be something to be ashamed of, and that's why I like the moniker that Reach Records has is unashamed. I mean that's real, unashamed of the gospel. And so I just love to see God shine, like his transformation power shine when he touched some of these celebrities, man, because when he touch them, they get opened up to a whole new world. Their eyes get open to a whole new perspective. They find a level of peace and tranquility, and it's just a beautiful thing to see, man. And I'm
Mhm.
just glad that Godflow can be a part of their transformation and also give them a platform to be able to reach out to people from a national perspective and to be able to share their faith.
Yeah, and just to be real, and just to go back to what you were saying about, you making it a point to say, "Listen, I'm a pioneer of Christian hip hop, and what I'm about to say probably might upset some people. There are Christian hip hop MCs out there who really ain't, like, genuine with their faith or whatever." But here's the thing, like, it ain't even just you. I feel like you ain't got to be careful when you say that, because there's Christians who are it's just regular Christians. There's Christians who, they say that they're Christians, but they're just
Yeah,
not
but we
genuine.
so sensitive, and
But
I've been known to be a straight shooter, and sometimes people can't handle that. I mean, I live in Minnesota, but trust me, I ain't Minnesota nice.
yeah.
I keep it a buck because at the end of the day, it's people's lives on the line. You know what I'm saying?
It's just about being real. And I guess, like, to your point though, when you have a leadership role in the faith, you do have extra accountability to be, more genuine. But at the same time, like, yeah, we are all Christians, and, like, we should just all we should be genuine with God. And obviously everybody has their own journeys, with the Lord. So there's that too, you
Yeah,
know.
and I feel you, but I'm speaking more for in regards to people who profess who supposedly profess the faith. But and I ain't gonna get deep into it, but there's a scripture that talks about being lukewarm. And God's like, man, I wish you was hot or I wish you was cold.
Mhm.
Like I don't really want you in the middle. And I just think a lot of us ride that middle. I see a lot of them ride the middle. I
Mhm.
mean, but it's all good. I mean, everybody got their walk, and that's what we do. We press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling, and so, it is what it is.
Yeah, okay, what I will say to kind of cap that off too is the journey is going to include some lukewarm moments, but it's a problem when you want to live in that lukewarm place
I
for a
would
long
I would
time.
wholeheartedly agree.
So
Yeah.
yeah, 'cause we've been talking deep about Godflow. We'll talk a little bit more about it, and then we're gonna transition into talking about some of the internal fun changes that have happened in the Man Up Club. So obviously we showed Black China and Ti some love, but Cedric the Entertainer, show him a little bit of love, cause I see you. I
My
feel like
dog.
yeah, you got to speak more towards that. Um, yeah, you got to speak more towards that.
Yeah, so I got some relationships in Hollywood that are pretty dope. I got some good people in Hollywood. I'm gonna tell you all their names so y'all can go get the plug. Nope, I ain't doing it. Anyway, listen, yo, Cedric the Entertainer, man. I shout out to him. So I lived in a small town when I was growing up called Haytime, Missouri. You guys Google it, see how big it is. It's probably about the size of your hand. And then 5 minutes away, there's another city called Crothersville, Missouri. And if you remember Johnson's Family Reunion, the movie that Cedric Entertainer did, when they and him and Steve Harvey, when they had their family reunion, they done it in Crothersville, Missouri, which is crazy. And the reason is because that's where he's from. So we basically 5 miles. We basically from the same place, 5 miles apart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I sent a shout out to my boy PK who made the connection for me, and you know it was just dope. Like said, show love. We had a great conversation about down there, because it's just one of them situations and places where you it's just certain codes when you come from a certain place that and when it's that place and it's that small and you talking about poverty and one or two churches and everybody know everybody and is like you probably related
Oh
in
yeah,
some or the whole town related in some kind of way.
yeah.
But it was just dope for him, man, to during COVID, for him to take the time to Skype with us, man, and talk to the Band Up Club about manning up, being responsible, and things like that, man. I just thought that was just so dope for him to be able to take some time out of his busy schedule,
Mm-hmm.
and to do that for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I was so bummed that he couldn't come in person. Like, oh, like that COVID was just it was just so crazy. Like I really wanted him so bad to come in person. Obviously he couldn't, but he made it work.
Yeah,
He definitely made it work. And yeah, I definitely know that feeling that you're talking about whenever you do like run into somebody that shares that home-based culture with you. It's really like you ain't got to you ain't got to even have a relationship. Once you find out that y'all from the same place, it's kind of like, oh, come here, brother. Like, I'm seeing you on the top. It's like, hey, how you doing? So that's really amazing. Shout out to him. And also, I gotta do this little shameless plug because I didn't mention it before, but that song that I mentioned from Angela White is called "I Am." Okay, it's called "I Am" from her. So you guys can get that anywhere.
dope,
Yeah,
dope.
absolutely.
Listen, I want to talk about something that's very important in regards to this year's God Flow that's coming up.
Hmm.
And we never done it. And so I'm putting a call out right now to everybody around the country who want to be a part of this. Here's how you can participate in God Flow. So this year we launched the God Flow prayer movement. And basically what that is we're going to get together online via Zoom 2 times a week for like 30 minutes. And it's basically for anybody who wants to pray for our city. We want you to come online with us, you know what I'm saying? Get the Zoom link. And basically all we're going to do is we're going to pray over our city, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to pray over our festival, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to do that consistently for 6 weeks leading up to God Flow. And that's open to anybody around the country who want to be a part of that prayer movement, man. And if you want to even come in town for God Flow, make sure you come the night before. Because the night before, all of the people who praying going to have an opportunity to come to our city, the Twin Cities, which is 2 cities, St. Paul and Minneapolis, which is only 10 minutes apart. And we going to hit the streets the night before God Flow. And we going to just walk through and we just going to approach people and see if they want prayer, man. We going to do so we going to do the real thing. We going to do the real ministry. So I'm talking about, young people and young adults who can actually get out there and walk and who ain't ashamed of the gospel and who really want to be the hands and feet of Jesus, you know what I'm saying? And who really want to hold hands or put their hand on somebody's shoulder, man, or just stand still and pray for somebody, because we live in a time where we got real needs in this country, and this country is like getting completely out of control. But God said, if my people who call by my name would humble themselves and seek my face and pray, I'll heal the land. What better way to do that than with God Flow? What better way to take over a city than to have youth and young adults just literally go and take over the city?
Mm-hmm.
And what you're going to find is you're going to find that a lot of young people out here in this culture, in this generation, got a lot of issues and a lot of problems and don't know where to turn, and they need prayer. You feel me? Now, what we also going to be doing is, if you're local to the Twin Cities, is we're going to be hitting the streets every weekend, every Friday and Sunday, doing that leading up to God Flow. So if you can imagine us deploying people every week, but then also getting together nationally, online and praying, man, that's going to be crazy when God Flow roll around. And by the time you get to God Flow, man, you're going to have people that's just filled with the Spirit, man, and the whole nine. But make sure y'all tap in with us on that. Go to godflowfest.com, sign up to be a part of the God Flow prayer movement, man, because that thing going to be real serious. You just tap in with us. There'll be information on the website for you to sign up and to be a part of the prayer, and then you'll get all the information sent to your email or whatever. All we're going to get from you is your name, your email, and your phone number, and that way we're going to send you the link to the prayer thing. But I just think that's going to be super, super, duper, duper dope. I'm excited. That's the most thing that I'm excited about when it comes to God Flow.
That's super dope. That is super dope. So yes, that's God Flow. If you didn't know.
One other thing.
What's oh my gosh.
Man, I've been working on God Flow till I'm God Flow crazy. I've been trying to stay away from it.
Well, yeah.
But when I immerse myself in something, I fully immerse myself in it, and I'm in it.
Yeah.
So well, here's what I want me and you to try to do real quick. We're gonna do this little exercise.
Okay.
Let's just try to, off the cuff, let's just try to name every artist that's done played or came to God Flow, either speaker or artist. So we had T.I. come.
Hovey.
We had Black China.
Aha Gazelle.
We had Cedric the Entertainer. See how I'm taking it easy.
1K Few. Yeah.
D1.
Sis and Lil Bro.
Oh, that was too easy. Zay Hill.
Angie Rose.
We had Portia Love.
Mike Teasy.
We had Range the Artist.
Clifford.
I'm going to say Clifford Gray. I got
Clifford
credit for
Gray.
that.
Yep. Oh, he's going to kill me for that. I'm sorry, big brother. I'm sorry.
You know, when Kenton Jones. Toya Love.
Toya.
I'm killing you. Portia Love.
Dang,
Did I say her already?
I'm tripping. Oh, and I'm a female artist too, so that's horrible. I'm sorry, girls.
We had so many.
Flo Mays.
Flo Mays.
Your turn.
I'm thinking. That's why I said I wanted to go through it. We had so many artists that came, man, that's been played God Flow. The Truth.
Chord. AG.
We had AG. We had XROSS.
Oh, yeah. I'm dead. He's
Grammy
right
nominated, I might say. Tory Deshaun was supposed to come, but he had another engagement.
Dang, if we forget somebody, that's horrible.
Oh, that's why I wanted to do it online, because that's the fun in it. Maybe we'll get a call from him and put him on this year if we forget your name.
Right. But yeah, it is. And listen, so there's many names we did not say.
I'm trying to think of any of the names that we didn't say.
No, I'm just saying, like, no. The ones that never played God Flow, but definitely have, the opportunity for sure.
Yeah, pop out. And shout out to my boy, DJ Miles Ski.
Oh yeah, DJ Mowski. Come on now, that's the best DJ for God Flow.
Yeah, he was dope. I don't know. He up
in
there.
My opinion.
He dope. He dope. He the truth.
He's the best God Flow DJ we ever had, in my opinion.
Man, you don't know nothing about Will from Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he gonna kill me too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love Will from Jacksonville.
Then we had what's it, DKG Kai?
Oh my gosh, how do I forget?
His name?
DKG Kai.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Let me just.
Don't get me started. See, we had we've had so many people to come to God Flow to lace the stage, man.
Yeah.
That was super cold, man. We wanted to show y'all love, man, and I just did that just so y'all can see, man. God Flow is legit, man. So make sure y'all pop out, whether you got to get here by plane, train, automobile. Even if you live in New York and you got to take a Uber to Minnesota, I don't know how much that's gonna cost, but it's worth it.
Yeah, that's what's up. But yeah, okay, let's get into the MANUP Club. Like, specifically what's happening with the MANUP Club, because just as exciting as God Flow is, we have some new faces that also make it very exciting. We just hired 2 new MANUP Club staff members.
Yes.
Okay. A program director. He's over all the programs. Shout out to Mr. Jordan Turner. We got to bring him on pretty soon.
Yes.
And then we hired a mental health therapist,
Huge.
Dr. Morgan.
Charles Morgan,
Dr. Charles Morgan, excuse
marriage
me.
and family therapist.
Yeah, he's licensed he has like 3 different licenses or maybe more.
Yeah,
So,
he's he's actually my mentor, and he's
mhm.
one of the most educated men that I've ever met.
Yeah, and just being in a room with him, he educates me a lot.
That's all he does.
Yeah, which is really amazing. But yeah, so how do you feel about these new changes? And just increasing the staff with more black men.
Well, I put it this way when it comes to the Man Up Club, and that's why I'm so grateful for it. There's a lot of things that we push in life and a lot of agendas we have and goals and plans that we have for ourselves, and we do what we can to push those. But it's a whole different ball game when God pushes something. And you know what I'm trying to do right now with the Man Up Club. The Man Up Club is taking a life of its own, and so I'm just trying to keep up with what God is doing. You know, we talked about the festival God Flow, but really, what we are now is when it comes to the Man Up Club, we getting into the flow of God. When God does it, um, it becomes effortless, and you just kind of roll with it. The doors start to open, and you got to walk through the doors. You just pray before you walk through the doors, man. And so many doors are opening in regards to the Man Up Club for us to impact our city with mentorship for young men, and I'm excited to.
Podcast. We're just talking about all the new changes that have been happening within the organization. Shout out to Dr. Charles Morgan and also Jordan Turner, the new program director for Man Up Club. I'm really happy to be in a space with these two men working side by side to impact the community, impact the culture. Let's speak about Dr. Charles Morgan. This is a handful to say. Dr. Charles Morgan's role as the mental health therapist. How beneficial, how much does it mean to you that we have mental health as a staple for the young men?
I mean, it's insurmountable. It's tremendous from the standpoint, like I said earlier, man. You know, when it comes to the Man Up Club, that is something that God is doing. That as the founder and executive director, that I'm trying to keep up with, um, and it's a ministry. Like a lot of people think that just ministries are just in churches, but a lot of viable ministries that are impactful and effective are a lot of ministries that are outside of the traditional church walls,
Mm-hmm.
where you're impacting people in a real and practical way. And so, you know, we deal with the most vulnerable young men between the ages of 13 and 24, African American males, as well as young boys of color, too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they need a lot of services. They're going through a lot. They carrying a lot, and also, you know, just to keep it real, you know, you got kids raising kids too,
Mm-hmm.
and so, you know, they haven't been trained in parenting, and they have, um, you know, all sorts of things that they deal with, you know, from abuse to abandonment, uh, drug use, grief, from, you know, seeing people being murdered, and then just poverty in general. You know, and all of these things, you know, they create trauma. So, you know, to bring on a person like Dr. Morgan, who is a black male therapist, which is very rare in the United States, period, just shows you the favor of God that we have.
He said that there's only a certain percentage of black men who are therapists in the United States. I think it was 4%,
Yeah, yeah, it's very rare, man.
or maybe
Um,
even less than that, I
yeah,
think.
but to have him, you know, is nothing more than favor from God and a blessing from God. Um, you know, so these boys can, you know, come in free of charge. I mean, of course, somebody's paying for the bill. You know, we're
But
taking care of the bill, but
to them it's
to
free.
them
To
it's
them and
free.
their families it's
Yeah, for
free.
them to be able to come into the Man Up Club and get mental health services and be able to talk with a certified licensed counselor, therapist. My bad, not counselor. I don't want to dumb that down. Therapist, practitioner, who owns his own practice.
Practice, yeah.
It's just super dope, man. I'm excited about that, you know, because we got guys that struggle with all sorts of things, and so for them to be able to sit down and have those conversations, and for him to tap into them, I just think that is going to work wonders for their life. I mean,
Yeah.
you got generations of black people, more specifically around the country and around the world, who's had, you know, historical trauma issues that haven't been dealt with and that are unresolved. And so these kids are getting an opportunity to do something that's been unprecedented within our community. And I'm just glad to have him as my mentor, and I'm glad to have him on board as a staff member now.
Yeah, mental health is extremely important. There has obviously been a big stigma around mental health and just, self care and all that stuff comparing two different generations. Like your parents' generation, your generation, my generation, and then even younger than me. I think over the years, mental health has definitely gotten more appreciation, especially in the Black community, as opposed to times before. Because there's old sayings of about mental health that are just really, it shuts people down. Whatever happens in my house stays in my house. You know what I'm
Well, yeah,
saying? Like things like that.
and that's true, and these are things, but there's a precedence that was set for that to happen because that stemmed from slavery, and you got to understand that everything had to stay in the house because of the cost you would have to pay if the wrong information got outside the house, and so that passed from generation to generation, and it didn't just stay with slavery. But early 1900s and mid 1900s, and even through civil rights era, 1964, and all through the 60s, that was very important just because of the things that Black America was facing, and whatever it was that you was dealing with, it had to stay in the house. Otherwise, you was going to create a bigger problem for yourself. And so that's substantiated from that, and it made sense during that particular time and during that era. But the thing is now, when you talk about it, even from a spiritual perspective, you talk about the stigma. But the thing is, um, you know, yeah, God is the answer to all things. But at the same time, God provides people and resources in place for us to be able to tap into to get the help that we need.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important because one of the things that God says, for those of you who are super spiritual or super religious, is that He says you should always seek wise counsel, in regards to your life. And so, mental health counselor, there's a place in the kingdom of God for mental health counselors, that does not step on God's toes. As a matter of fact, it's in God's will.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the way that you put that because when it comes to talking about, Christians and even if you're not Christian, just people who are spiritual who even belong to other faiths, um some people can be so high and spiritual that they do nothing practical, and everything that you try to do to help yourself that's not spiritual is like the devil or something like that. But like you said, like God gave us intelligence for a reason. He gave us the ability to be able to make things for a reason. I mean, science comes from God, community comes from God. We're supposed to utilize each other and lean on each other. That's why God says, bear each other's burdens.
Yeah, and there's another scripture that says, "In all thy getting understanding," which is a critical principle, and so that means getting an understanding of self.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the mental health therapy sessions, they're gonna happen. They are already happening every Thursday afternoon, and like I said, we're always accepting new members, guys. We're always accepting new members. Um, so let's switch to the program director. How how long have you been waiting for this day? To just
A
have
long time.
somebody over all the programs,
A long time, a long time. I never really, I was always hesitant to pull that trigger. Number one, because the Man Up Club is my baby. And what I mean by that, I'm the visionary of it. And I know exactly what it is that I want for the Man Up Club and the direction that I want it to go. And you have to be careful about who you put your your baby in the hands of, to make sure that they're going to cultivate it, they're going to nurture it, and they're going to grow it and give it what it needs in order to be successful and, more importantly, to be effective for what it's called to do. And like I said before, it's a God-given thing. It's God's thing. So for me, I haven't been in a rush to get a program director because I want to be very careful and thoughtful about the people that I bring on board in a leadership role, especially when it comes to forecasting further, to either carrying out my vision or even having their own autonomy to create vision for the organization. But I'm excited about Mr. Turner. I love his background, and he's been in the Minneapolis public schools. He's been a part of the community. He's definitely pro-black. I love that,
Yeah.
and that's no
Me
disrespect to
too.
anybody
Me
else. Just
too.
because you're pro-black don't mean you're anti anything.
Right.
But I like the fact that he's that. He's a straight shooter. You know, he does what he needs to do. He has discipline. You know, doing what you got to do when you're supposed to do it, whether you want to do it or not. You know, he's a bona fide leader, and I like that. And I love the fact that he's relational. Relational is critical because in this work, when it comes to working with urban inner city youth, you have to be relational. I don't care what kind of education you got. If you got an education but you're not relational, or you're not cultured, it's going to be a problem. And so I just like the way he moved. I like his tactics. I like his discussions, but I also like his humility, and his ability to take directions, and carry it out. And you know, he hadn't pushed back, on anything yet. You know,
Mhm.
basically his style is like, whatever it is that we need to get done, uh, I'm gonna get it done, and he's gonna be strategic about it. And so I like that. And so the young men are taken to him. He's comfortable in the space now, and so I'm just excited about having these two, um, black men, male figures, masculine male figures at that, to be in the space with these young men. I think that that is so important. I think it's so vital to their development. And I pray for these young men, and I thank God for these young men, and what they bring to the table. And even you as the coordinator as well, you know, to hold things together and to keep things moving. It's not an easy job. It's not for the faint at heart. It's serious work. But you know, at the end of the day, the reward is great because it's a real situation. And even though Man Up Club started in 2012 and became nonprofit in 2015, in the grand scheme of things, when you look at businesses and organizations, we're still considered new, in the grand scheme of things. So you know, there's growing pains. You know, we ain't there yet, but the thing is, we are sustained, where we've been sustained, and we're stable,
Let
and we're effective.
Yeah, let me say something about that because speaking of the Man Up Club being sustained and stable, one of my college girlfriends, she hit me up the other day, and yeah, she hit me up the other day and she was like, Selena, I was talking to this girl, I was networking with this girl. She's this, professional black woman. And basically, like, there's this coalition where she pulls together leaders and, it's like kind of like a wealth collective. And even besides that, it's more so like a networking thing. And, we got to talking and I just thought she was looking for certain people to have in the room. And I thought about you because you're such a like a go-getter and stuff like that. And she was saying, and like, and I know that like um you work for the Man Up Club as well, like besides your music and besides like who you are as a person, like you're also like working for your dad and you're working for the Man Up Club. And it's like people need to know about people don't know about things, or people don't know how to connect. They don't know who to connect to if they don't know, what's in the community. And she was just commending the organization as well on just being around for so long. And
Yeah,
she was like, the Man Up Club, it's one of those businesses, it's one of those organizations, it's one of those community households that didn't start and then blow with the wind. Like it in this community, it's stayed a
it's a
long
staple.
time. Yeah, it's a staple. It's building a name for itself, the longer that it continues to live. And so for just to hear my friend like just talk about that, like it was just like, well, yeah, businesses that stay for a long time, the longer that you stay, like you get even more respect, and like people pay attention, pay attention to that.
Yeah, consistency is critical, and a lot of people. And I mean that I might even do my winning on Wednesdays about consistency today because that's important. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really. It's not so much about, how you do what you do or what you obtain while you're doing what you do. But I've gotten a lot of favor, and I've moved the needle on a lot of things and got a lot of blessings, and been able to get in a lot of rooms and make a lot of change based on consistency, being able to just show up consistently, because in our culture, that's not something that happens regularly, especially in the lives of these young, vulnerable, young men. They live in situations that are very volatile.
Hmm.
So to show up, consistently every day, for those doors to be open to that organization, for those kids to come in, even if it's just one kid that's coming in, that could be one kid that derails.
Yeah, absolutely. Any last words on what you hope for the future of the Man Up Club, God Flow, the community?
I just want us to keep going, keep grinding, to keep doing what we're doing, to keep being effective, to keep pushing the needle, to keep saving lives, to keep mentoring young men, to keep, offering, God, and what have you, man. So, You know, that's what it is. And we're always looking to build partnerships around the country and launch into other cities. So if you're listening and you want a MANUP Club mentor leadership organization in your city, tap in with us at the manupclub.org. If you want to be a part of our organization or be a contributor, a monthly contributor, be sure to tap in on our website and, you know, you can send us a donation or what have you, man. Everything we do is off of donations, man. Or if you just want to be a partner of us, a corporate partner, we love it.